record.
Got it.
There you go. Fantastic. So thank you so much. I am absolutely giddy. It's an honor to talk to you, Emily. How do you pronounce your last name? Is it Sailors? Just like it?
Failures, like sail your boat with an S on the end.
All right. And
Nobody knows how to say it.
I know, well, it's like I think it's Sailors, but maybe not. And I'm a
Yeah.
stickler for pronunciation.
Yeah, sail yours, like there's a Y in it, but there's not.
Okay. It's like you kind of slur a little because you're drinking with the sailors. It's all great.
Exactly.
Um, I I think I don't know if it's a total coincidence or the universe doing good things, but it's Women's History Month. So talking to you, Amy Sailor or Emily Sailors with the Indigo Girls, absolutely iconic folk rock musician. Plus, you guys are just activists, trailblazers for women, for LGBTQ, and it really truly is an honor. And I'm excited to see the Indigo Girls for the very first time at the Peoria Civic Center coming up in like a week, basically.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
and I, uh, I have to ask because I know you and Amy met in elementary school,
Yeah.
and I just think that's so neat. I have friends that I've had since elementary school, and that's it's really special. But you guys just, I mean, you moved mountains together. And how old were you when you first met?
Let's see. I moved down to Georgia and I must have been like 10 or 11, and she was a year below me. And we
Okay.
did meet in elementary school, but we didn't start hanging out. We went to the same high school then. We started a high school in eighth grade in our county.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we were in high school, eighth grade through 12th grade. And that whole period of time, we both were in the chorus. And that's when we became really good friends and started playing. I'd go over to her house, my guitar.
Oh, you're freezing up on me. Oh, there you are.
We had an English teacher who encouraged us to make a set list and do a performance for the AP English class. And so that kind of spearheaded it. But it was so fun from the very beginning. But it's kind of weird to think about how many years we've been working together, um, and still have the utmost respect and love for each other. That's a miraculous feat in today's world, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, to maintain that friendship through everything. Because I mean, I'm sure there's been highs and lows.
Yeah, I mean, we're different personalities and we don't always want the same things, but we have worked out, a way to respect each other's wishes. We both have the same value system, which is the key to it all. And we allow each other a lot of space from each other. So it's everything that Amy does on her own, I fully support, and vice versa. So we're not like our whole creative and personal lives are not wrapped up in Indigo Girls.
Right. And you've both had solo careers outside of the Indigo Girls as well.
I mean, Amy's had a real solo career.
Yeah.
She's been this is over a decade now, building a following and putting out her own albums. And I put out one solo album, but I've recently started to write musicals. I'm working on two different musicals, and it's like finding a new creative life. I absolutely love it, and I didn't expect it to come. And that's one good thing that came out of the pandemic for me was time to find a different creative route. And Amy's super supportive, so on we go. And then we've had a lot of good things happen. We had a documentary made about us recently that went to Sundance, and
Yes, I'm very excited about that.
yeah,
Um,
what an honor. It was great. It's such an honor. It came out of nowhere. Someone wanted to make a film about us, so that's
so
been cool.
for CT listeners, they're going to want to know how to consume this documentary. It's called "It's Only Life After All." Of course, a lyric from "Closer to Fine," which that song. We'll get to that because I want to talk about that song because that hit like at a pivotal part of my life, and it was like mind blowing at the time. And it's only life after all. The documentary. How can we consume this?
Well, there are several film festivals that are showing it.
Okay,
We did Sundance, and then South by Southwest is March 14th. That's
that's
right
coming
around.
up.
So we got some Texas fans heading out for that. It's playing in Sarasota. I think it's playing in Cleveland, playing in Toronto. So there's a way to find out which festivals it's in. But other than that, they're close to distribution. So when that happens, that means that whatever the streaming platform or network makes the deal with the team, then people will be able to just stream it whenever they want.
Oh, that's
I know,
fantastic.
it's exciting.
Very exciting. And how long did it take? Because now you and Amy have been working together for like 40 years. How long did it take to put this documentary together?
I think it was 3 going on 4 years, maybe. The director, Alexandria Bombach, I think she edited 1,000 hours of footage, and
Wow.
we were interrupted in the pandemic,
Mm,
and then came back together after the pandemic. And Amy also had an incredible treasure trove of old footage from way,
mm.
way back, like high school and old cassette tapes where we would rehearse together. And
Oh my God.
so there was just a lot of stuff to dig into for Alexandria that Amy provided to her. So it took a long time, but we were just kind of like, oh yeah, that documentary's in the works. I wonder what's going on with that. And finally it got close to Sundance, and then it was asked to premiere on the opening night. So we were very excited for Alexandria and the whole team, because that's an important thing for them. And we
Yeah.
got to go out there and watch the movie, and it was exciting. It was different. We'd never experienced that.
So, and you're with you trying, you're trying your hand at musicals and they got the documentary. So you're always changing and evolving. But you seem to always come back together and work together. And I think that is really special. When did you realize, the two of you, that, hey, this is how we can make our living,
I mean,
making music?
Amy would.
Oh no, you're freezing up again. Ah, unfreeze, unfreeze. Why? Ah, is it on my end? Oh, buggers.
At the end of college, we had a following, and we were starting to do our little regional touring and play shows and stuff. So it just kind of became a career. And Amy's like, "Do you want to do this or do you want to do that?" And so I was like, "All right, I'll do music." And and we never looked back, because people talk about bands paying dues, but everything that we did never felt like paying dues, because we loved playing together. And in Atlanta there was a huge music scene, and then Athens was our sister city, so it was just in the water. And everybody, friends would come and play with us, and I mean, it was fun. Got to hang out in bars and play music, and who doesn't want to stop that? Who wants to stop that? We didn't. And then never expected to get signed to a major label. Um, it really was an organic journey. It has been the whole way. And then, of course, as in the things were,
Oh no, it's doing it again.
um, they would have gone, yeah. Am I freezing?
I think it's my internet because I'm
With you,
telling
Lynn?
you, the computers are rising up to take over. And you're frozen again. Ah, come back.
I think I'm okay because I'm hardwired with Ethernet, so I think I'm okay. Still Etherneted.
You're Etherneted and my we've been having some internet issues, but well, you mentioned Athens, and I hope you can still hear me, but you mentioned Athens, and I was really tickled to read, like, you had collaborated with some gentlemen from Athens, Michael Stipe, Mike Mills, Peter Buck, and for me especially, I am a child. I graduated in 1989, so Closer to Fine came out the year I graduated high school. REM like helped soundtrack my, and it was very college alt, and I wanted to be that cool kid. Um, so how did that happen? How did you meet these people and say, hey, let's work together? I think that's iconic itself.
Well, there were some connections. One was the proximity of the two cities,
Sure.
and our manager, or was an attorney, knew then. We just the first time we met Michael Stipe was just, I forget the room, and we just hung out a little bit. We just sort of had an affinity for each other. And then Scott Litt, who produced their albums at that time, we asked him to produce our album, our first album for Epic and the second album. And so that then naturally led to, hey guys, you want to come play on their album? And then they were so kind to us. They took us on a leg of their Green World Tour. I mean, they just really gave us a leg up at the right time. So it
Yeah,
was just, we were like, you know, friends with music, friends with proximity, friends through common connections, and then friends through the same producer.
that's amazing. And I think, for me, REM has always seemed like they're to help everyone, and especially to lift people up. And that isn't always the case, I think, with men in a lot of parts of life, but especially the music industry.
Well, it was a very, very organic and supportive environment back then, between Athens
Hmm.
and Atlanta. And
Cool.
everybody wanted everybody else to be happy and do well. And, they just recently, the Robinson brothers, or one of the Robinson brothers at least, put together a benefit for Planned Parenthood in Athens. And it was a Peoria tribute night. So Amy and I sang Orange Crush and
Oh,
all these
wow.
different, Darius Rucker was there, and John Cameron Mitchell, and a bunch of like people from that era, and all the guys were there. The Mike
That's
Mills and
mm,
Michael Stipe. I stepped on his foot by accident. I was like, hey, he was very friendly. And it was like old homeschool. It filled our hearts for a long time. So that's how it was.
I love that.
It was a bunch of, it was good men and good women and good non-binary people, and everybody supported each other. There was just no artifice. It was super cool.
Well, you said you use kind of a buzzword right now is non-binary. That's kind of a word that, but you and Amy both, you were unapologetically, authentically who you were, from I think basically the start. You were living your life, authentically you, and that wasn't um, as welcomed and as it is today. Oh, my internet connection is
Right.
unstable. Sorry about that. I just got a notice on my computer that my internet connection is unstable. And,
I still see you and hear you perfectly
okay,
well.
great.
You just do some editing on your end.
Yeah, there you go. I'll get my team on it. Um, so what, and I applaud you for that because it's society is so judgy. And I think that, whether you meant to be trailblazers or not, you were. And I can appreciate that for so many people. And right now is an interesting time in history where I feel like we've taken steps forward, but some steps backwards with a lot of the transgender issues that are going on. Do you have any thoughts on that? What needs to be done?
Well, I think there's been uh, a backlash against the progress we've made, in Obama's administration, and now we have a Democratic president, and we've made a lot of steps. We have a friend who's executive director of Equality Utah, and Utah is a very interesting place. And there, he works with the legislators, and he's a real bridge builder. And he's gotten a lot of positive movement on trans issues because of the way that he approaches people through their humanity and not through, I'm on this side and you're on this side. But the laws in the legislature have been disheartening in all of the country, and what's going on in Tennessee. And it's like, when you look at the evolution of human rights and civil rights, it's a long, long journey. And
Yeah.
people, they should not be speaking for what they do not understand. And legislators should not be passing laws. They have these trans kids, trans adults, parents of trans adults coming in and speaking their lives. Like, this is crushing us. This is wrong. You are dehumanizing us. And they're just turning a blind eye to that. So it's a very frightening and dark time in terms of that backlash against human and civil rights, the progress we've made. But we're all in the fight, and we'll keep fighting. And it's important for allies to put pressure. So
Mhm.
maybe Taylor Swift can do a press conference. I know Maren Morris has been an ally. Just these big, particularly country stars. It would be
Yes.
great if they even stepped out even more in Nashville and took a stand. So I think it's important for allies to take a stand, and we just need to get in there and hang out with the legislators and try to block these bills that oppress trans people and kids,
Yeah.
that don't provide them for medical treatment and medical care. To me, it's horrific, and there's just a long way to go. But we just keep fighting, keep it on the forefront of the issues, keep talking about it, keep voting.
Yeah. Get to the polls. Absolutely. So I the Closer to Fine was just a song that I didn't really know the meaning when I was, 18 years old, but it made me feel like, okay, we're all going to be okay eventually. Which of you wrote that? Because what I've read too is that you and Amy don't necessarily collaborate on writing.
We don't. I wrote that song. I was sitting on a porch, in Vermont. My family was on vacation. It is a very, very clear memory to me writing that song and where I was. And Amy and she writes her songs and I write my songs. So throughout the course of our career, I think we've made a couple of attempts to write together, but we write our own stuff. And then what we're able to do really well is arrange them together. So that's when they kind of
Okay.
become Indigo Girls songs. When we add the harmonies and we talk about the parts and what instrumentation and all that stuff. And that's when they become the group effort.
Well, it was beautifully written, and thank you for gifting that to all of us because I seriously can remember hearing
You
it for the
just
first
never know.
time.
I just wrote it, and then we got signed to a major label, which was never expected. And then they put a push behind it, and Hot House Flowers performed and sang on that song. Great band from Ireland, and
Yes.
we just got a lot of help. You know, so there's lots of songs that never make it to the light the way that that one did, and we're just fortunate that it did when it did. So cool.
So was it because I know you wanted to be musicians, but did you ever see your goal as becoming iconic or the awards and the you just glad to be
Not at
doing what you
all.
loved?
I mean, we really, our whole focus was on what's the next cool thing we can do? What's the next good gig we can get? Who can we play with? I mean, we grew up playing in bars like hootenannies, and we're very much like, who can we bring into the fold? We've always been that way. We still are. And then we just wanted to, we couldn't be anything else but ourselves. So that's why we were. And nothing else was worth it to us if we had to be anything else but ourselves. Like it was a
Yeah.
no-brainer for us. So we just carried on, and we came out in a good time where labels were signing women with guitars, and then we had a lot of support, like with REM and Hot House Flowers, and the record Epic Records was really good to us. So, but before us came many, many pioneers, people who really suffered, queer people, gay people, lesbians, people who were outcast, and even great songwriters like Farron, the Canadian singer-songwriter, and the whole women's music, women with a Y, music, all people who came before us who paved the path for us. So it was never, never a thought of, oh, wow, we're really paving paths, ever, ever, ever. And then you look back and you're like, okay, well, in your period of time, you were able to amass some, like a communal confidence among people who needed people who were like them, you know?
Yeah.
Sort of
Yeah.
all of us little queer birds of a feather. So we were in that place at that time. But many people paved the path for us.
Yeah, it's definitely head down and keep plugging forward and it's beautiful
Always,
poetry.
always.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Um the the um the path needs to keep clearing the path because if we stop, it'll just grow back over. So I appreciate you so much taking the time to talk with me. And I have like one more question. I know you've got other things to do, like get ready to come to Peoria to play Peoria. I don't know if you've ever heard that saying, will it play in Peoria? Um, so it's the vaudevillian. We were like I always say we're the center of the universe. But I'm always interested in artists who not only influenced you, but also who you're digging right now.
Ah, good question. Well, I always loved, well, the first album I ever bought was the Jackson 5.
Nice.
So I grew up loving R&B and pop R&B and stuff. So like Stevie Wonder, when I got to, I think it was high school, I bought every one of his albums. And then Joni Mitchell was the biggest influence as a songwriter. But
That
I've
makes
always
a
liked
lot of sense.
straight ahead rock and roll. Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of people that I fall into these holes and I can't stop listening. Madison Cunningham is an up and coming artist that I absolutely love. I
Yes.
love Joy Oladokun. Well, I'm kind of in love with Miley Cyrus, and I love Noah Cyrus's voice, and I love her writing. I love her. I love her. And then huge Bon Iver fans, Justin Vernon, way at the
Yeah.
top of the list. I love Lizzo. I saw her before she just exploded into fame. That kind of rocked my world. Janelle Monáe, same thing.
Ah,
Saw her before
and
she
she's got
just
new
like.
music too, doesn't she?
So what's that? Yeah. Oh, I think
Janelle
so.
Monáe.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think so. I think
Does
she's,
she?
yeah, yeah. I think
Awesome.
so. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's a total visionary, badass, and a great artist.
Mhm.
So I love music. I love like songs, Kelsey Ballerini. I love country music. My friend Cam, I love her music. Um, I love Jennifer Nettles. A lot of people. I love a lot of music.
Yeah. Well, and isn't it funny? Music has different place in different parts of our lives and different moods and the
Totally.
soundtrack to your life.
I do want to let your listeners know that Kevin Kinney is opening for us.
Okay.
KEVN, Kevin. And he, back in the day, he was in the Atlanta music scene. He took us under his wing. He let us play shows with him. He was a huge influence on me and Amy. So it's really like coming full circle to have Kevin with us. And people are going to want to not miss him. He's the opening act because he's a wonderful songwriter, really cool human being. And, he's amazing to me. So I just want to let your listeners know that
I love
Kevin
that.
will open the show. Cool.
You know, when somebody tells you to listen to an artist, you should, but when it's one of the Indigo Girls, you really should listen.
Well, we're so inspired by the people we take out on the road with us, so we handpick them most of the time, and there's
Love that.
never anybody that you're going to want to miss. All good.
Well, you're not going to want to miss this show. Everybody, pay attention and get your tickets. March 19th, Peoria Civic Center. Tickets are on sale now. I have to tell you, we ran contesting as radio stations do, and our text lines blew up for Indigo Girls. So I have a feeling this is going to be a
Yay!
solid audience and an amazing show. Don't miss the opener, Emily Said So. And again, thank you so very much for taking time out of your day. And I look forward to seeing you live and in person in a little over a week.
Well, enjoy yourself, and thanks for the time. I appreciate it, and your listeners appreciate them too. We'll see you soon.
Thanks so much, Emily. Happy Women's History
Okay.
Month.
Yes, ma'am.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Safe travels.
Bye. Thank you.
And that was it. That was Emily Sailiers. I'm like kind of like, la, 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 but it's going to be great. So anyway, see you at the show. Talk soon.